were born stillborn.
Yeah.
So you were resuscitated, and then at 4 years old, you have a fall from a 4-story building.
Pronounced dead on the spot. Right before I hit the ground, there was a man with a big hand. He caught me. I looked up and said, "Wait, what is your name?" And he said, "Son, my name is Jesus." Man, life is fragile. Your next breath is God's option. It's not that God is not able. We think we're waiting on God. He's waiting on us. Expectation is fake. I expect. I know you're able. I know you can. That's expectation. But preparation says, not only do I know you're able, but I'm preparing me for it. I need to be a wife before I get married.
You caught some backlash because you sang at the inauguration of Donald Trump.
People are more afraid of being canceled
Oof.
than they are doing what they're called to do. Everything about me was kind of a downgrade.
For your wife?
Yeah, for sure.
Why do you say that? Welcome to Vault Empowers Talk. So we don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential change makers. I'm your host, Brandy Harvey. But before I introduce my guest for the day, I need you to go ahead and do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss your daily dose of inspiration and motivation. Without further ado, I get to introduce this amazing man sitting across from me today. Travis Greene is a Grammy-nominated, Billboard, and Stellar Award-winning gospel artist. As the author of Are You Praying for the Wrong Thing?, Travis takes readers on a journey to a deeper relationship with the Creator. He wants people to stop praying for a gift and pray for God. In this book, he explores why your prayers go unanswered. Along with his wife, he is the co-pastor of Forward City Church, a vibrant and thriving ministry in Columbia, South Carolina. The vision of Forward City is to exist to see the unchurched and the overchurched move closer and forward with God. Travis believes if you're not moving forward, you are falling behind. Vault Empowers Talks welcome husband, father, pastor, author, and musician Travis Greene to the show.
What's up? What's up?
Hi, Travis.
I feel like there's supposed to be some claps.
It was some claps.
Okay, I'm gonna
for
add to that.
You are a Grammy, Stellar, Billboard artist,
Man.
all the things.
I'm here.
You are here.
I'm adding this.
Listen, you weren't even
Vault.
supposed to be here.
Nah.
You weren't even supposed to be here. Listen, we talk about all the awards and all the accolades, but you were born stillborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A praying black mama.
Yeah.
Brought me through.
Prayer has been all over your life.
For sure.
So you were resuscitated, and then at 4 years old,
Yeah.
you have a fall from a 4-story building.
Yep. In Germany. Yeah. Pronounced dead on the spot.
Yeah.
My mother came, picked up my lifeless body, and literally, I mean, doctors are there and everything. They pronounced me dead, covered me with a white sheet. She picked me up and
Wait a minute. You were covered with a white sheet.
yeah, they pronounced me dead on the spot. Yeah.
We weren't even supposed to start. We're only 2 minutes in. We're 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so mom comes, she picked me up. She just started calling on the name of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, and just praying. And then, so then I came up, she said, I started coughing, and they took me to the hospital. And they kept me in the hospital for like 3 days. And then as we were leaving, so she said that the doctors told her, don't talk about what happened because he can go into shock. You know, we haven't seen anybody recover this fast. So just, you know. So she says we're leaving, and we're leaving the hospital. We're in the car. And I said, hey, Mom, I got to tell you what happened. And
You're at 4 years old.
I'm 4. And she's like, no, let's not talk about it. And I just keep insisting, like, no, I got to tell you what happened. And I told her, I remember falling from a window. I said, but I never hit the ground. Right before I hit the ground, there was a man with a big hand. He caught me. And this is the best way I could describe it at 4. I said I couldn't see his face. It was too bright, but I heard a voice that said, do you want to go home with your mom or come with me? And I said, I want my mom. And he said, okay, this time you're going home with your mom. Next time you're coming with me. And I looked up and said, wait, what is your name? And he said, son, my name is Jesus. So it's the best way I could describe it when I was 4.
Y'all doing this to me today. I just, listen, you ain't the first one to sit in the seat today, Travis. And I'm already getting chills. I can't do it this early. Wow.
Yeah. So it's my life's mission to really just share that truth and let people know he's real. And unfortunately, he's been misrepresented by so many people, you know, who call him their God. And he's not harsh. He's not mean. He's really a loving God. And
yeah.
So, I mean, that's just what I've been doing really most of my life, just telling people, yo, he's real and he loves you. And that love has been transformative. You know, even at the church we pastor, we've seen hundreds, thousands at this point of people saved, baptized, and just transformed, literally, you know. So
transformed. 2013, you're in Atlanta airport. and you get a download
Yeah.
that says you're supposed to go start you a church.
I feel like you know me better than I know me. You're like, dang.
Ain't no cue cards, ain't no teleprompter.
Dang, you calling the
Listen,
date.
Yeah, 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Never forget it. So I'm walking in the airport, minding my business. We're living in Charlotte at the time. I'm flying. I was doing something here. I'm flying back to Charlotte. And I get this. The only way I can describe it, Brandy, is a holy burden. I've never felt it before.
A holy burden.
Yeah, it's the only word that I can describe it. It's like I felt this pressure, but it wasn't like heavy, but it was like a pressing almost, and like a, hey, you know this is me kind of thing from God.
Was
right?
you in the Delta Lounge or you was just sitting at the gate?
Nah, this before I was Delta Lounge material. My wife said this is before I was Travis Greene. I was just Travis, so it wasn't a whole lot of medallion status, but 10 years ago. Right. Nah, I wasn't 360 or nothing like that. I was just chilling and coach. And so I'm standing there, and I feel like this pressure, and I'm like, and like immediately, like I felt, it wasn't an audible voice, it wasn't that crazy, but it was like this inclination, like start a church. And
Wow.
I immediately was like, oh, no.
Can't be me.
No. There's so many reasons why not me. So many. I'm not a in the box guy. I'm spontaneous. I like to move. I like to do what I want to do. I hate meetings. I hate structure. I'm all things creative. I just want to, party and, good party. Not like wild party, but I want to.
Because all this time you were an artist. You were a performer. You were a musician.
I'm going around doing my thing,
Yeah.
And so I was like, nah, like that ain't me. Suits ain't me. You know what I mean? Like none of that is me.
Yeah.
And it was like unshakable. It was like, yo. So I did what I always do. Called my wife. I'll never forget. I'm standing there looking at planes land and take off, and I'm like, yo. I called her. I was like, yo, you think we'll start a church? And she responded. She said, yeah, I've always known. I was just waiting on God to tell you.
Wow.
Yeah, that was her response, like that.
But she's a dentist.
She's a
her
dentist.
trade is dentistry.
She's a dentist. She's brilliant. But she always knew, we've known each other since 2007. She's I always knew. Like anyone who's around you, you know what I mean? You've been pastoring them. You've been leading them. So I'm like, dang. So here's where it gets, this part gets crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm on the plane. I'm like, I'm shaking the whole flight, and I'm just getting vision. I'm seeing much of what we built now. Yeah, I'm just seeing it. I'm seeing flashes. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Okay. And so I write down a list of reasons why it's a bad idea. Like, here's why I shouldn't
On the
do
plane.
it. Well, maybe when I land by this point. I'm writing down the reasons why I shouldn't do it. And then God just countered them. It was like, nah, you still gonna be you. You can wear your sneakers. You can do this. You can talk like that, whatever. Like, I'm gonna draw people to your swag. And I was like, all right, if I could be me, like, we could roll. So I get home, and we start writing down, my wife, I'm like, yo, man, it's crazy. So we start writing down church names,
Yeah.
So the first name I write down is Forward. Then I write down a bunch of other names.
Forward is the first church that you write down, the
Forward
first name.
is the first name I write down. And I was like, nah, that's probably overused. So I'm trying to think of something cool. This is all the night. This is the day he told me. So this is that night. So I'm sitting on my floor, and I'm doing this. And then the next day, so we go to sleep. The next day, I'm like, yo, babe, like this Forward thing I can't shake. This is really cool. I'm like, I can't shake this. So I had looked at this the night before, didn't see it. And I typed in forwardchurch.com. There's a church. It doesn't even exist anymore. There was a church in Alabama in 2013 called Forward Church, and the pastor's name is a white couple, Travis and Jackie.
You tell this.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you tell them in the book. Yeah.
So now I was like, all right, bet. All right, we're going to do it.
We can't turn back.
Yeah, it's God.
But the church doesn't come about until 2015.
Yeah, well, 2016. We moved in 2015 from Charlotte to Columbia. And we're doing little Bible studies in 2015. Okay. In 2016, we kick off, yeah.
You kick off.
Travis and Jackie. It's crazy. It was like the confirmation we needed.
It was a confirmation.
Yeah.
You start this ministry.
Yeah.
And then 2 years into this ministry, you had all this exponential growth. Hundreds of people joined the first day.
Yeah.
And then 2 years in, you said you couldn't pay people. You couldn't compliment them enough to make them stay.
Nah, it was just the floodgates open.
Yeah. What was happening?
Culture was happening.
Yeah.
Culture was happening. And I think for anything to be stable, even when you're looking at like building and foundation, you got to shake it to like make sure what you have is secure.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm without fault. I think I've grown in my leadership. I've matured, a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I've learned my rhythm a little more to be more gracious, to just be a better leader, a better friend. But at the same time, some of the stuff was just, people just discontent or just didn't like the change or didn't like us solidifying, hey, this is what we will accept and what we want. I think a major part of culture is not just finding out who you are, but finding out who you're not.
Yeah.
And we're finding out, we're not that. We're not
Yeah.
that. And certain people didn't like it. So it was a tough year.
It was a tough year.
Yeah.
And then part of even what has, really prompted this book was you get invited to go to this church.
Yeah.
And they're giving you the tour. So much so, it was one of them churches, you got to ride around the campus to go take a tour of this campus.
Yeah.
And you riding around, sitting in here, and you watching and looking, and what's happening in your spirit at this point?
So I sung, it was funny, it's kind of full circle. So I sung for this service, Bishop T.D. Jakes preached, and it was like an anniversary service. So it's me and Israel Houghton, we sung. And it's at Elevation Church. I don't name the church in the book, but it's Elevation. And so I go there, and Pastor Stephen Furtick, who is now, a great friend of mine, but at the time, he was, I've just always admired him. And he's a workout freak. He's a health freak. Freak.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just passing. We're chilling in the green room. I'm like, yo, man, I need to work out with you. He's like, he looked at me like, bet, let's do it after church.
Right.
So I was like, really? So it's like, yeah, come to the crib and work out.
Like, didn't know you were going to take me up on this offer.
Yeah, because you actually do this. Like, now I probably can do it then. I'm like, fam, you doing pull-ups like it ain't nothing. Like, I'm not in shape.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, so I get with his right-hand dude to ride to his house with him. And so we're at their main broadcast campus. We pass another campus that's probably 8 minutes away. It's not far at all. I mean, it's not far. You can hit a golf ball to it. It's not far.
Yeah.
So we go, this is like their first campus, their first main campus that we passed. And his right-hand dude is like, yeah, we bought this building like year 2 or 3 or something. Very early on in ministry. I'm like, well, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, somebody gave us a bunch of money. Athlete gave us a bunch of money.
Like a 7-figure donation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So immediately,
You're like,
oh, I'm pissed.
Mad.
I'm big mad.
Yeah.
So I don't let him see it. You know what I mean? I'm acting like I'm
You going
interested.
around, you're like, oh, nice building. In your mind, you're like.
It's Charlie Brown. I don't hear nothing else he say. It's just wah wah. And I'm internally like wrestling with God. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to think, all right, so this is at the time, this is probably 2018.
Yeah.
So at the time, I'm the #1 gospel artist in the nation. I got, I'm sold out tours everywhere. I think I did 90 shows in 2018. So 2 number ones all throughout the year on radio. We killing. So I'm doing shows, like big shows. We're in Africa doing, 70,000. I think the biggest show we do in Africa is 800,000. So I'm doing these shows and coming back to Columbia, South Carolina, to pastor a church that can only seat about 300 because God told me to. So I'm like, first of all, God, I ain't got to do this. Like, fam, I'm all right.
I'm Travis Greene.
At the time, I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like, we financing this joint. I'm paying the staff from touring. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, wife and I, you know what I mean? We paying. So I'm like, all right, what am I doing wrong? Like, it's these country folks. That's the first problem.
It's them.
It's them.
It's got to be them.
It's them. That ain't me. I'm Travis. So it's that country staff whack.
Ooh.
We ain't got enough space.
Ooh.
We ain't got enough money. And
Yeah.
God, you set me up. Like, you set me up for the okey doke. Like, why the heck am I doing this? Like, this is whack. And literally, he's still talking. No, I don't hear nothing. I'm doing this. I'm like, are you racist? Clearly, you're not even white. Like, I don't get it. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong.
God
like, what
only
is it
giving
about
to
me?
the white church.
Yeah, you giving it to the white church. That ain't cool. Like, we out here, like, it's more resources that the black churches need. So I'm mad. I'm big mad. And God asked me a question. I'll never forget. He said, what would you do with $1 million? And every answer I get, this is all happening for real. Like, I couldn't make this up.
Yeah.
It's happening on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm looking at the campus. I'm like, I get a bigger building. He's like, okay, where? How much? Interest rate? Down payment? What size? What? I didn't have an answer. I'll get more staff. Who? Better question, Travis. What does your current staff do? No answer. Everything that I threw at him, he revealed to me that I didn't have a plan for what I had been praying for.
Woo.
And that's what the whole book is about. Are you praying for the wrong thing? It's not that God is not able. I think many times we think we're waiting on God. He's waiting on us. The quote I have in there that says, a prayer without a plan is wishful thinking.
Yeah.
So God shifted me really from being someone who's just begging and wishing and hoping one day God, and like, nah, try to grow up and prepare and get ready for what you're believing for. Yeah.
You said recently that the songs that we be singing to God be singing to us. I don't mind waiting. And God like, I don't mind waiting.
Right back to it. Right back to it. It's like, he not the hold up.
Yeah.
Majority of the time.
Yeah.
Majority of the time it's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not ready. Or we're actually praying something that he don't want for us. The scripture, yeah.
I want you to get into this because you really unpack this in this book. I mean, because by the time you get to chapter 4, child, I'm like, when you talking about that plan, it should be simple. The plan should be plain.
Yeah, it should be extremely plain. And I think it's only plain when it's clear. And it's only clear when it's in alignment, right? So there's a passage in the Bible, Psalm 37, verse 4 and 5. But this is what it says. Verse 4, it says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. Now, most people know the part that says, God to give me the desires of my heart.
Yeah,
Well, the A clause is the most important. You got to delight yourself in him first, right?
Yeah.
So you have to live a life of feeding your spirit, of worshiping him, and then he'll give you the desires of your heart. But this idea of him giving the desires of your heart does not mean that he'll give you what you want. It means that he'll give you what to want.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference. So alignment is, man, what I'm praying for is something that God desires for me, not just something I'm inspired by because I saw Brandy got a dope dress on Instagram. So it's like, God, please give me that. Well, maybe God don't want you to have a dope blue dress. You know what I mean? So it's like, now, God, what do you want? And there are so many frustrated Christians because we're shouting, believing, fasting, giving, spending around 3 times, believing God for something he ain't never promised.
Okay, so you were at the church, you're at this mega ministry, and you come back and you can't answer any of these questions. And so now what do you do? Because now you have to start implementing a new plan. Yeah. Because you start to reimagine your
big time.
everything at the church.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not too late to start. That's the beauty with God. I think for me, it was, so he gave me this line that has changed my life forever. He said, don't focus on moving, focus on maximizing.
Yeah.
Right. So many times, vision is supposed to give you something that encourage you, to give you a little jolt, a little boost. But it's not supposed to. If you stare at it too much, it can be discouraging.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can't wait till I'm there. I can't wait till I'm there. Like, don't focus on there, lock in on here. And when you maximize here, before you know it, it'll become there.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I was just like, with the little place we had, I was like, nah, this is going to be the best thing we can afford to make it. So we can afford to paint these walls. We can afford to change the ceiling tile.
I was so glad when I read that in the book. I was like, but that's the part, right?
Yeah.
It's the faithful over a few.
Yes.
Few things, right?
Yes.
And you said you went in there and you were like, let's paint.
I was
We need
a
some new.
madman.
Let me see some new paint.
madman.
You started looking at the staff. Okay, now tell me what you do again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it helped me and it helped them.
Yeah.
There was one female in particular, she basically runs the church now. I'm all about smart females. Maybe because I'm from a house full of them. But there's one young lady, her and my wife were best friends since college, but she's our chief of staff. And her in particular, I didn't know what all she did, and this is, like I said, it's 5-6 years ago. So I was like, yo, what all do you do?
Yeah.
And I'm the pastor. It's horrible that I didn't know. I just know she did a lot.
Yeah.
She started naming what she did. I was like, oh God, you're overloaded and you're underpaid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I was able to really correct some things as well. And even with her, she asked me during COVID, which was a great reprieve for us, but she was like, yo, can you help give language to even our vision? And so, I humbled myself and I prayed and was just like, yo, okay, God, give me clarity, make it plain who we are and who we're not.
Yeah.
And I came back with new language. We call them our culture codes.
Okay,
and
the culture codes.
Culture codes.
Okay, now what is that?
So there's a few of them. One's called Party Heart. Life should be a party. You know what I mean? I came from a lot of tragedy as a kid. My dad died when I was 5. And then watching my mom, deal with crying over him and just different stuff like that for me. But my mom is the bomb too, because my mom, she is the epitome of the scripture, weeping endure for a night, but joy come in the morning.
I mean, you said it, like your father passed away when he was 28 years old. You were 5.
Yeah.
He died of a brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
I mean, literally goes in to take a nap. Y'all are taking a nap.
Yeah.
He says he's tired. He's dealing with a headache.
Yep.
And he never wakes up.
Yeah, he asked my mom to read the Bible to him. And he closed his eyes and never opened them again.
Yeah.
He was out.
And you say your mom, 34 years later, she still can't talk about him without crying.
Nah, it's still real to her.
Yeah.
He was her everything. He was first boyfriend, everything.
Yeah.
And so she got married when they were 21 or something like that. And then 7 years later he died. So he was everything to her. And And so still to the day, if she talk about him or talk about anything, she gonna cry. His birthday, I gotta check on her. Anniversary, gotta check on her. Father's Day, anything that remind her. I want her to be with me for Christmas because I know that could get, So my mom, she'll be in the house cooking, dressing, listening. I Miss You Most at Christmas Time by Mariah Carey. I'm like, Mom, you gotta get, come on now. We're gonna
Change the playlist,
change
Mom.
the playlist, Mama. Then I miss you, Mama. You gotta chill. We're gonna have to.
But you saw this because you said even as a little boy, y'all would get put to bed. You talk about this story in the book.
Yeah.
And you said, you guys would get put to bed and you would wake up hearing your mom.
Yeah, I'll come down the steps. She'll be crying.
Yeah.
But morning, day, man, it was game face. You know what I mean? My mom is a chef, so she'll cook for us. She made sure she put all three of us through college. You know what I mean? Just a phenomenal woman.
Yeah.
So growing up kind of in that though, I don't reflect on I'm not traumatized by my childhood because of my mom. She made sure we went on a trip. She made sure, as a matter of fact, I married a country Georgia girl. And, when we were engaged, I was talking about Disney World at one time. And she was like, yeah, I never been. I'm like, how have you never? I know my way around. I'm a Disney tourist because of my mom, like a tour guide. Like I can take you around.
Yeah.
And so literally our first year of marriage, I took her to Disney. I said, you got to go to Disney World, girl.
Yeah.
How you never been to Disney World? But like my mom made sure our childhood was filled with joy and stuff. And so for me, one of our culture codes is party hard. So you walk into our church, every Sunday, there's a DJ. Speak first thing installed.
Y'all swag surfing at the church?
All of that.
Okay.
All of that. All of that. First thing installed with speakers in the lobby. Like it's bumping. Our nickname. We're on a main street in our city called Two Notch.
Two Notch. Yeah.
So our nickname is Club Two Notch. So like you come in and it's just party vibes, just from beginning to end. But that's our culture code. So anything we do, I want it to be a party.
Yeah.
Anything. So that's one of them. Give to give. Don't just give. And try to manipulate your way with God. Just give out of the kindness of your heart.
Okay, because you tell the story, and I was kind of like, ooh, that was a lesson. You talk about how your mother really was the first person who taught you about, like, doing it for the love of it, right?
Yeah.
So you've been in ministry your whole life. You grew up in a holiness church.
Big time.
You've been a musician your whole life.
Yeah.
You were playing organ, all the things.
Yeah.
And the church was about to pay you when you were a kid. You saw the envelope coming your way. You about to walk up to get your paycheck, and she came and snatched the check out the pastor's hand and said, he's fine. I'll take care of him. I got him.
Yeah, it's a true story. I was probably around 12, 13. And, I grew up in it. I never even knew you could get paid. I never knew it. You didn't get paid where I came from. Ain't nobody got paid. The pastor worked at Taco Bell.
Listen, exactly, right? He definitely had a day job.
He came. The Bible said he smelled like tacos. So I didn't, it wasn't no get paid. What? Everybody, mechanic, teacher, So I didn't know. I grew up, that's how I grew up. So I remember I played for the revival. My mom preached like 3 nights. And she got done, I think it was in Charleston. And the pastor came walking up to me with an envelope. I was like, what is that? I'll never forget, like, she just, like, intercepted it. She Dion'd that mug. It was just like, boom, took it from him and gave it back to him. And was like, I got him. And it just stuck with me. I mean, we're talking about, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I would never unsee it. I remember the feeling of, like, man. But it was such a profound moment because it changed me exactly like you said. Where, when all you do is for money, you know what I mean? It taints everything. And I'm afraid we're in a generation now that's like hustle.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my mom made sure that went in my heart. So to the day, it's rare if I do a concert and know how much it is. That's the manager's job. Like, I'll find out. I don't know the size of the event.
Wow.
I have no clue. I just do it. For the love. I mean, they're not gonna have me do something that's a waste of my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's on them. But beyond that, like, I mean, my wife is a money woman. She knows exactly.
She strikes me as she
knows exactly what's going on.
She's that girl.
Oh yeah. She knows exactly.
She ain't playing.
I don't know how much money I have in the bank right now. I don't know my mortgage. I've never seen a bill in my house. Never.
She is the manager.
I like, I want this car. She's like, just buy it cash. Like, cool. Like, she rocks it.
So you talk about the influence of your mother, and I'm assuming that you kind of married someone like your mother.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
And my wife is an interesting dynamic because she tells this story. She got a book called Permission to Live Free, and she tells how, like, she grew up in a very feministic, woman-dominated family. So, like, it was unfortunate that the women had to carry the weight You know what I mean?
So
like,
she didn't grow up with her father?
No. Her dad lives in Ghana. So he left when she was like 2. So he's African. They met in college here.
I was
in
wondering the
Atlanta.
last name when I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
who is African? Where the dad? Who African?
Yeah,
Okay, got
her
it.
dad. So
Okay.
they met in Atlanta in pharmacy school, her dad and mom, back in the 80s. And then they got married, and then he left and then never came back. So it's interesting. Her grandmother just passed a couple years ago, but her grandmother in the town in Sandersville, Georgia, Takeo Spice.
Shout
country.
out to our good friend Takeo.
So her grandmother was everything shy of the mayor. True story. She owned funeral home, nursing home, printing place for the newspaper. She owned everything in the city.
Wow.
So my wife is like the princess of like this small town.
Yeah.
And so her mom is a go-getter. Her aunts, everybody's like business owner. So my wife, she's a dentist by trade. So naturally, that's just her wire. So here's what's funny. It's very interesting. I don't even know why you got me here, Brandy. But everything about me was kind of a downgrade.
For your wife?
Yeah, for sure.
Why do you say that?
Well, initially, right? I'm a business major, but I'm a musician.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't got now it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got money now, but then I have nothing. It's like this, like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Who's this guy with a guitar and a dream? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We would break down the side of the road in Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like, and she never, ever made me feel less than. She was really attracted to my intelligence and the fact that I had vision.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And she knew I wasn't lazy, but I had a vision. Like, I was like, and I was from when we were kids. When she was 19, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna drive.
Yeah.
This is where we're gonna live. I'll drive around, look at houses, like, I'm gonna buy that. And I didn't have nothing. When I say nothing.
It's very similar to your friend Tim Ross. So he came and did the show, and he talked
Really?
about
That's my dude.
he talked about the donut truck that he was riding around in with Juliet, and he had nothing. He just had a dream, and she bought into it and was like, I'm gonna ride with you.
Yeah.
While he figured it out.
Yeah.
And so of course now she doesn't have to work, and your wife doesn't even have to. She's not even practicing dentistry anymore.
She never really did. So she goes to dental school. While she's in dental college, I get signed to a major label.
Okay,
and
wow.
And then it's off. And once my records came out, it was over. And then for her, she went to school 8 years, worked maybe 8 months.
Wow.
And then we just kept having kids. It's just like, I'm gonna raise these kids, fam.
Yeah, 3 boys.
3 boys, yeah.
You come from a household where you were the only boy. You have sisters. And so now you're raising boys.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the thing that you really want to teach them?
It's interesting. They're growing up a lot different than I did.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, they got, I mean, they ain't no Harveys, but they Greens, you know what I mean?
Don't worry, we didn't grow the way people think we did. So yeah.
So I mean,
there was a start, okay? That was a start.
So they don't have a lot of people to compare themselves to in their world. You know what I mean? They think it's normal.
Yeah.
The stuff that they have.
Yeah.
So I think teaching them, we're low. My wife and I are low. You know what I mean? Like we down home, hang out, play spades all night, country kids. Like, you know what I mean? And so stuff don't define us. So for us, it's very important for them to know, like, not to be defined by stuff, to love people, to see people. And they all have this natural, like, care. Like, they're like, we're not gonna pay the guy playing piano over here. Like, we should tip, we should give him something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they have that, like, that heart. But I think that's the most important thing. And then for me, man, I'll just say this, in the lane that I'm in, and I'm not a church basher person. I actually hate that kind of talk.
You said church basher?
Yeah, I don't bash the church. But in the lane that I'm in, integrity is rare. You know, longevity and integrity is rare.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's rare for a pastor to have a couple decades under his belt without something.
A scandal.
Something.
Yeah, some sort of scandal.
Something. So for me, having grown up in church and having seen, as a musician, having seen so much, I want to be, and not in a self-righteous way, but I want my legacy to be for my sons that they never had to be embarrassed. You know what I mean?
So that raises a question, because this was not even on my list of things to talk about, but you kind of caught some backlash at one point.
Yeah.
Talk about integrity. Talk about people questioning, even your blackness at one point, because you sang at the inauguration of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely not. People didn't think I was black in that season.
Yeah, I know they didn't. I know they was like, you and Chrisette, y'all was on the list. They had revoked all y'all black cards.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. I'm glad you brought it up. It was a very interesting time for me. Context, I'm extremely busy at the time, right?
Yeah.
Extremely busy. We popping. I'm all things artists.
I mean, at that point, Grammy-nominated,
Yeah,
5
yeah.
Grammy-nominated, Billboard Awards.
Yeah, I'm everywhere.
10 Stellar Awards at that time.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm literally, I'm preparing for a tour and a live recording in DC, when the inauguration happens. Full context, I get invited by Hillary's Clinton's camp to do her run with her, and I decline. So no one knows that. So I was like, nah, I'm not, like, I ain't on no political train, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just not my thing. So Trump wins. They hit us up from the White House, and I'm like, my initial response was like, heck no. Like, why would I do that? That doesn't even make sense. I'm winning right now.
Yeah.
Like, life is good.
Yeah.
Let's not mess anything up.
Yeah.
So that's my initial response. And then my manager is just like, well, just pray about it. And I was like, cool, I'll pray about it. But there's just no way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I pray about it, and I was like, I'll sleep on it. And while I'm sleeping, I felt like I had this question from God, like, would you do it if I told you to? I was like, of course. And I was like, would you do it for free? I was like, of course. I mean, I do almost everything. Like, I don't you know me, I'm not a money guy. It was like, all right, go. It's what I felt, honestly. You know what I mean? And so I was like, woke up and told my wife, I was like, yo, I feel like I got a green light. This doesn't make sense to me. But I got this hashtag that has been on me for years called Engage Culture. And that was really what provoked it. So, like, culture is all around us. It's undeniable.
Yeah.
So it's swag, it's the clothes we wear, it's the food we eat, the art we collect, it's the philosophies we embrace. It's all around us. 3 responses you can have to culture. You can conform, you can complain, or you can confront. And so for me, my wife reminded me of that. So like your thing, like, is engage culture. Like, that's your thing. Like, this is an opportunity to confront.
Yeah.
And so be the light. And who needs it more than a place that's divided, a nation that's divided? So that was my whole angle. It was purely, yo, I'm gonna go and be the light. And so I did it. And what's interesting is there was some backlash. There was way, way, way more support than there was backlash. And I think I got in front of the conversation. You know what I mean? I got stood in front of I got in front of cameras like, yo, I feel like the Lord's telling me to do this. Like, I get it if you ain't with it, but this is what I feel like He's telling me to do. I'm gonna go. I got in front of my church, told them before anybody knew, and they stood up and clapped and was just like, bet, like, and I think it was difficult for everybody. It was difficult for me. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't want, and there was no part of me that wanted to do it. I almost felt obligated, and I felt like I would be a coward if my reputation mattered more than what I felt was a divine instruction.
Honestly, I had no expectation to talk about it. Like, of course, I saw it in doing the research, that was a thing that kind of, that people had some controversy about. But I have to wonder.
I think it's on Wikipedia, I think.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Listen, if you got a Wikipedia page, I'm going to read it. I am.
Scandal.
Yeah.
White House.
It was. And it was interesting because, as a person who I believe you to be a kingdom builder.
Yeah.
That you are here to build the kingdom. That why wouldn't you want to go in places where the kingdom can be represented and you can build in it? So it's interesting how we kind of pick and choose in the culture when we want to engage with it.
I think now we're in a day where people are more afraid of being canceled than they are doing what they're called to do.
That's real.
Because at the end of the day, like, I got to answer to someone much bigger than people with Twitter. Like, I got to answer to God, and He's going to be like, yo, did you do what I told you to do?
Yeah.
And that was it. That was my whole angle. I never met Trump, but it was funny. So, there ain't no black folks there. I think Ben, what's the doctor name?
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson's there, walking around. He's probably the only, other than the waitresses. I ain't seen no black folks. Ain't no black folks there.
I'm a roast might have been there.
Yeah, so what's funny was, What's funny was, so I'm there, and my mom, I flew my mom and my mother-in-law, so they're there. And it's not a big deal to me because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just another thing. I never think about it until I'm on stage and I look at my mom's crying. And I was like, oh, this is a big deal. I promise I had no clue.
A presidential inauguration. No matter who we think or believe should be in that position.
It just lets you know what state of mind I was in.
Yeah.
It was just a thing. It wasn't deep. And then what also was helpful was that I fast from social media in January. I do a 21-day fast.
So you weren't even on
I never saw it.
Yeah.
I never saw it. And then my team just handled it. I never saw it. And then all my mentors that I reached out to, I won't name them, but all of them was like, you should definitely do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, bet.
It leads me to, because even you talk about in the book,
why are you so smart? Golly, you're a freaking genius, Randy. What? Good Lord. You are like Oprah on steroids. God.
You're not the only person who comes and sit in the seat to say that. Yeah, so I'm really grateful. I don't take this assignment lightly, and so but because you talk about in the book, the mismanagement of the miracle.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes we're mismanaging, and so I really want you to delve into that, because it seems to me that oftentimes we get presented with these opportunities, and then we don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a strategy.
Yes.
We did not have a playing plan.
Yes.
And now we're in a season of mismanagement.
Yes. Yes. Not church bashing. I think it's our fault, man. Like,
okay.
And here's why. I'm a church boy through and through.
You
Born
are
and
raised holiness church. I mean,
born
church boy your whole life.
Like, I'm all things church.
Yeah.
All things church. The reason why I say it's our fault as a church, some of this, is because a lot of times, especially the charismatic movement, which is where I'm from, Pentecostal, like, we're going to shout our way to a breakthrough.
Yeah.
We're going to praise our way to a breakthrough. We're like, God, spin around 3 times, give, cry, fast, pray, all those things. But what happens, what actually happens once I get it? Do I know how to handle it?
Yeah.
And so for me, as much as we shout about miracles, we have to learn about management. And as much as we shout about stuff, we have to learn strategy. And here's why. I believe the next level of blessing comes when you enter what I like to call the trust zone. So with God. So it's one thing to be known by God. It's great. It's one thing to be loved by God. It's amazing. It's another thing to be trusted by God.
Yeah.
Like, we cool. You know what I mean? We cool. We'll probably hang out offset, all that stuff. You're not going to give me your Amex.
Yeah.
You just don't know me like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I love you, Trav. We cool. I know you. I love you, cool, whatever. But you want my card to do what?
Yeah.
I don't like, and so, but you probably give it to your best friend, Tiara, because she's in the trust zone. So with God, you want to get in the trust zone. Like, you want to be such a good steward of what you have that you can be trusted with more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're that's what I want to be with God. I want him to know, Trav, you're not going to embarrass me, or you're not going to waste this, or you're not going to, you know what I mean? You're going to represent me well when I do what it is that you're praying for. So
when I read that in the book, though, and then I've heard you preach that message before, I said, man, that's so spot on, because I always ask God, like, God, I pray that you continue to trust me.
Yeah.
And so when I heard you say, I was like, maybe I've been on to something all this time.
It's everything.
Maybe I've been praying for the right stuff.
To be trusted by God is the highest compliment. You want to be trusted.
Yeah, because you get doors open to you. I mean, the stages that you get on, the platforms that you've been on, it really is because God says, I trust you.
I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust you. But that trust is earned by stewardship.
Yeah.
How I manage now determines if I can be trusted with next.
Yeah. Ooh, how I manage now is how I can be
trusted with next.
Trusted with next.
If I'm in a double wide, why am I believing God for a mansion if I can't keep the double wide clean? So
some of y'all out here asking for God for a bigger house, and that one you got is nasty.
So
listen, it's the same premise with the car. It's like
all of it.
We want the new car.
You got French fries in the back seat.
Listen, this thing is disgusting.
The proof of expectation is preparation, right? So I can expect, but expectation is very limited without preparation. Preparation means that my faith is now working. Expectation is faith. I expect. I know you're able. I know you can. That's expectation. But preparation says, not only do I know you're able, but I'm preparing me for it. Yeah. I'm preparing my mind for it. Yeah. I need to be a wife before I get married. I'm equipping myself for what it is that I'm believing you for. And when I equip me for it, then you trust that I can handle it. I won't fumble it.
I mean, I think it was with Forward Church. I mean, you had to be trusted with that small group, with them small Bible studies before.
You got to be trusted with a small staff before you get a large staff. You got to be trusted with 100,000, 50,000 before you can be trusted with, millions. Like, it just is what it is. And it's funny. And I talked about this earlier, the 7-digit thing, right? I'm praying. I'm like, God, why can't I get $1 million or whatever? He's like, he asked me the questions. He proved to me that I've been praying for the wrong thing, that I'm not ready. And so I just locked in. I focused on maximizing, not moving. And it's so crazy, Brandy. Like, literally, as I started locking in, I looked up and I was in the future. So in 2020, during COVID, we bought an old Best Buy, 45,000 square foot. We bought it cash.
Yeah.
So I have $2 million, renovated it. A lot of people know, you can go to my Instagram and see it, but I think it was 2022. Mike Todd gives us $1 million, $1 million, like, boom, here. So it's like, and a few years after, God asked, what would I do with $1 million?
And you was like, but
Once I got into the trust zone, I could trust you with that. I had one season in college, players Kappa outside, shimmy.
You a Kappa?
I'm a noob, yeah.
I'm a Delta. I would have not got Kappa vibes off you. I would not.
I'm redeemed.
I see, save the Lord. Yes.
Yeah, I'm no longer too pretty to die. But I'm still, me and my brothers, we super tight. But so I did that, and I had a season of just, partying. I'm the pole mark, president. So, because I'm the only sober dude, you know what I mean? So it's like, Trav, so drinking and smoking just never been my thing. So they're like, all right, Trav, like, you responsible.
Yeah.
You're the responsible one.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all that, and I had a season where I didn't know what that would open up. Like, I thought I knew temptation. I had no clue because my mom covered me so much. So, like, where I went to school at Georgia Southern University.
Yo, baby.
Oh, fam, you knew. It's over.
Yo, baby.
It's over. We are...
It's being
Blackstreet Boys.
Yeah, it's being thrown every which way. Catcher's mitt.
It's out of here.
Yeah.
We the hottest thing.
Yeah.
Athletes are like,
way
I already
lower.
know.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? We have pro players. They way down the totem pole.
Yeah.
Noops was everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Q's, they weren't too far. But Noops was... Noops, I know Fox are cute. They weren't too far, 1911. Noops was everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't know that exists.
Yeah.
Being a church boy, church girl's a little different. Church girl's like, oh, don't touch me. It's different than like, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that level of temptation, I wasn't ready for. Oh God, I thought I was. I wasn't ready for it. And so I had a couple months of that world, and I was like, what's crazy was it wasn't an altar call, it wasn't church that got me back, it was a mirror. And like
It was what?
It was a mirror.
A mirror.
A mirror. I remember literally standing in my bathroom mirror after a night of fun, and God was like, yeah, you're more than this.
Wow.
And I literally walked back in the room and told the girl, I was like, yeah, that's it.
Well, wait a minute.
And she's like, what?
Go back. What?
Yeah, it's a true story.
You was in the room. The girl was in the room.
Yeah, I was like,
and you went in. You said,
I walked out of the bathroom.
I rebuke you. Get out this bed.
I walked out of the bathroom. I was like, yeah, it's over. Like, this ain't me. And she like, oh. And I was like, yeah.
I thought you was living for something else. You said no.
Never talked to her again.
Oh my goodness.
It was over. That was it.
And so that was the part where you said, I have got to live in a way that I know is pleasing to God. And you really rededicated your life at that point.
Yeah, hardcore.
Wow.
Like I went from that guy to literally, I had a nickname in college after that called Captain Save a Hoe. Because I was on that.
You was out there just
oh man,
with your Bible.
Oh man,
leading
like
them.
What
shepherd?
What
sheep.
On campus in the student center? Like a girl hit on me, like, nah, it ain't me. You want it's guy. I'm that guy. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Let me introduce you to him. You're not attracted to me. It's called the anointing.
Do you know the Savior?
Yeah, I'm serious. The girls would be like bawling, crying, like meeting God, like text thread, like girls would text me. This is a true story. Like 4 months celibate. 1 year celibate. I'm so proud of myself. And I would be like their accountability partner. That's who I became.
So you kind of flipped the script in college.
Yeah, it happened in college. It happened in school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I met my wife. That's who my wife met.
Wow.
Thank God.
Okay.
Yeah, we went
because
to
she
work.
might not have noticed you. She might have.
She would have been out of there. I was too.
Yeah.
I was too full of me. But yeah, so she met me preaching on campus.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is what really leads into this part, because recently you said this is the healthiest you've ever been in your life.
Yeah.
You said you didn't drinking and smoking and all those things were never a part of your, really in your eyesight.
Yeah.
But at this point in your life, this is the healthiest you're physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah.
Talk about what is giving you, what prompted this shift into this optimal health.
I think optimal is the word. I think that's literally it. Like, it's a responsibility. I feel a responsibility to be my best.
Yeah.
I feel like I owe
Yeah.
that to Brandy. I feel like I owe that to my wife. I feel like I owe that to my boys. I feel like I owe it to my staff.
Yeah.
I feel like I owe it to my family, my tribe. And so, what does that mean? What does longevity mean? What does it require? And so for me, you know, me and wifey was in the gym at 5 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Prayer at 6 a.m. My first meeting was at 7:30. You know, so like I'm just clicking. So for me, what prompted it, I think honestly was there was one drug that I got addicted to. Ambition. And I wanted it too bad. I wanted success too bad. I wanted to make it too bad. And it caused me to not have contentment where I was. That's why I preach about it so much, because I know what it's like to strive for next. Like, tomorrow I'm going to be happy. Tomorrow I'm going to have peace. Tomorrow I'm going to have joy. Tomorrow I'll rest. And it's like, one, tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
And two, like, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about the here and now and locking in. And so once I got that revelation, it changed my life. And I just became a better person for everybody. I think my wife tolerated me, like, always being future driven. And it's like, now I can lock in. Like, if I'm here, I'm here. You know, if I'm in a meeting, my phone is upside down. If I'm with my wife, Monday's my day off, it's my Sabbath. So I'm in my basement, you know, chilling, you know, preaching, watching Verdict, watching, you know, Torre, Potter's, watching my homies, and I just want to know, you know, what people talking about. I'm getting filled back up. I do it every Monday, so I'm just kind of getting filled back up. She come and just sit with me. She's preparing for our conference. She got Tim Ross, Dr. Anita Phillips, her mentor. Sarah was there last year, but she got, who else is there? Cheryl Brady, herself, and then I'm preaching, Tasha Cobbs, Naomi, Todd Galvin. So, I mean, her lineup is crazy. But, you know, we talked through her message and stuff. We're literally best friends. Like, we glue.
Yeah, but she got that oil, because you told that story, honey. She done pulled that oil out.
Oh, she's hardcore.
She done pulled that oil
She's
out.
hardcore.
Yeah.
She's hardcore. But yesterday, you know, she comes down. We're talking through her stuff a little bit. But I'm able to just lock in. Yeah. I'm not, you know, and it just shows up in life. And that's what I mean by health. I think the ability to be present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The ability to be present. Like, I'm here. Yeah. I'm not worried about what I can't handle. I'm not striving to make something happen. I don't have the best version of me on reserve until I get married, or until I have kids, until I have my own spot. It's like, nah, man, like, life is here now. And what does it require me to be optimal? And I find those things. I find what takes life from me. I find what gives life to me. You know?
Because you talk about, I think it's in chapter 8 of the book, you talked about being at peace with...
You know these chapters, boy. I don't even know the chapters like that.
Being at peace with what left or who left.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes, man.
And so most people can't find that contentment because they're remembering about who left and what left and what they don't have anymore.
Yes.
To be able to find what God has put in the present.
Yes, yeah. So the line is this: quit focusing on who left and fix your eyes. Like, shift your focus to what's left. You know, and it really comes from a couple things. My mom, you know, my dad died when they were young, basically kids in their 20s. And instead of building a life on grief, she shifted her focus to the three kids she had left. And it's a story in the Bible. It's in 2 Kings chapter 2 Kings chapter 4. It's a story about a widow. So it reminds me of my mom. Long story short, I talked about it at Potter's.
You talk about Potter's. You talk about it in the book.
Yeah. But I just love the story. I'm fascinated by the story.
Go. You got it.
All right. I'm going to do it real quick. I'm going to do it 30 seconds. Elevator. But the woman's on the verge of losing her sons, right? Her husband dies, and he ran with the prophet. So he's basically a preacher. He dies, no life insurance. She's about to lose her sons. In the Bible times, if you're in debt, they'll take your sons, you know, to pay off the debt through slavery, basically. And so... By losing her son, she runs to Elisha, who is a mentee of Elijah. Elijah's going to Elisha. Elijah's a big deal in the Bible. Elisha's his mentee. She runs to him and just like, yo, I'm about to lose my sons. My husband's dead. And he doesn't ask her, like, how can I assist you? Yeah. And that, for me, is just the first thing. Like, obviously, she's coming to you for a reason because you can make a miracle happen. Yeah. And he's like, he asked her this question that's so profound. He says, what do you have left in your house?
What do you have left?
What do you have left in your house? Everyone has something left. Yeah. You got something, you know, you're focused on who left. You're focusing on what you don't have. But what do you have left? And what do you have left is what the oil. That's the oil. That's the anointing. That's where God wants to flow through.
Yeah.
So she shifted her focus from who left her husband to what's left, the oil. And the miracle is not just the fact that she's able to pay off her debt because God performs a miracle with the oil, but it's also the fact that she don't lose her sons. And so for me, that's what it's all about. Like, not another thing that's just been a trigger for me in life. It's been a personal giant that I hadn't been able to overcome until recently. It was probably another reason I'm so healthy. I don't know if it's because of my dad. I don't know. I'm talking to Oprah, so it's just opening up stuff for me, Brandy. I don't know if it's because of I haven't lost my dad, but I haven't done well with relational transitions. You know what I mean? It don't matter what the reason is.
Okay.
So if someone moves, it's personal. If someone resigns, it's personal.
Okay.
Someone, anything.
Even though you've dealt with a lot of people leaving you along the way.
So it's always been personal. And it's always been difficult to overcome until over the past probably 2 years. Before then, and that's probably why I'm so healthy now. Before then, it's always been difficult. It's just, it means that I'm wrong. It means that I'm not a good leader. I self-sabotage if it don't work out for whatever reason. And then I got a revelation that, like, all transitions aren't bad. I studied this one time, and it's kind of deep.
Yeah.
Do you know why fall is called fall? Fall is
me.
called fall. The season is called fall, literally because leaves fall from trees. Do you know why leaves fall from trees? Leaves fall from trees because the same leaves that gave the tree life in the previous season, if it stays with it in the winter, it'll take life from it. The tree can't survive the next season with the wrong leaves attached to it. And so the revelation is leave leaves alone. Like, sometimes there are people that are in your life for a season to add value, to add to you, to help you become who you're becoming.
Yeah.
When that season shifts,
Yeah.
let them go. And it don't mean that they're bad.
Yeah.
It just means if you keep them past their expiration date, like anything,
They're going to take from you.
it'll take from you.
Yeah.
And you can take from them. It goes both ways. So it's helped me mature and grow up. I understand that all shifts aren't bad shifts. I talk about that in the book too. But it's not always bad when there's transition, and not focusing on that or on those people. But man, what do you have left to manage? Yeah.
What do you have left to manage? But you talked about it. You said your affliction has matured you.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, your affliction.
Big time.
So was that part of the affliction?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I mean, I think you need betrayal. I don't know if you fully value loyalty without betrayal. I don't know if you fully value love without hate.
Yeah.
You need a few people to not to be against you, to value those who's for you, or you won't see them.
So what's been one of the biggest defining moments to help mature you in your walk, your journey of faith?
I would say a person more than a moment. It's been my wife. I mean, she prays a lot, but she's just a bright person. She's not in a room without lighting it up. And she always just has the right thing to say, right? And we had to learn language. We didn't, we've grown together. I think early on, she would be a little too preachy in moments that I just needed. I just need you to be a thug with me for a second. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, but babe, if I wanted Juanita Bynum, I would have sent her a DM. Like, don't preach to me right now.
Not you would have sent Juanita
Like,
a DM.
don't preach right now. Let's just be mad together. And so she's like, I ain't bet. You need me, like, let's go. Let's set it off. You know what I mean? So she give me that, and then the next day she's like, you're a little petty, right? Like, we're going, like, that ain't all there. So, but now, like, our rhythm is so healthy that, like, she gets it. She gets me, and she always knows the right thing to say to help me see bigger, to help me see broader, to help me, and vice versa. I'm able to do that with her, but not just see the negative and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially with relationships, man. Like, just because it ended bad doesn't mean that there wasn't value there.
Yeah.
And so instead of buying the narrative of, man, this just sucks or this person is just terrible, it's like, nah, there's still some good memories in there, and there's still some stuff in there that I needed that developed me.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Like, it's my pain that grew me up, though. It's me getting it wrong that helps me to get it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's me striking out. That's the only way I'm able to hit home runs now. So, yeah.
What's the biggest lesson she's taught you about yourself and your marriage?
She probably when she was 19. I remember one time I called her. I was living in Warner Robins, Georgia, and she was still an undergrad at the time. And I called her, and I was like, pretending to be busy, right? It's 17 years ago. So I'm like, yeah, man, I'm here. You know, I'm got a meeting. I got this, that. Like, boy, you 22. You ain't like 23. You broke.
Right, you ain't that poppin'.
You ain't doing nothing. You know, I got this meeting. I gotta go. Blah, blah, blah. I'll never forget this line, and I feel like it's a line from God that He says to us too. But it changed my life. She said, let me get out. She's like, cool. She said, hey, you know you don't have to impress me, right? Mm-hmm. It changed my life. Mm-hmm. It changed my life. You know, not living a life to perform or to be impressive, you know? Yeah. And I think that's one thing she helped me with. When you're overly impressed by people, you'll strive to impress them. And somewhere in that mix, you lose authenticity. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so she's helped me with that. She's helped me calm down. She's helped me like, it's cool. You know, she's not impressed by nobody. Yeah. Oh, it don't matter. Yeah. And when I say it don't matter, I mean, whoever you think the famous person is in the world could walk in. Yeah. Like, she don't care.
She's good.
She's good. She's not going to change the way she sit. She ain't going to change the way she talk. She's the most authentic individual, the most pure person I've ever met in my life. And so she's helped me with that, to just try to relax. Like, it's all, they just people. Yeah. It's just stuff. We good.
What's the biggest lesson your children have taught you?
Oh, man. That's a great one. Slow down.
Savor the moments.
Yeah, slow down, man. Yeah, it's going to be there. That, whatever it is, it's going to be there. If it's a message you got to finish, it's going to be there. They're going to be all right. Yeah. If it's a call, it's going to be all right. So I've learned patience from them.
I bet.
A big time.
Three boys.
Three boys.
Yeah. And they're like back to back.
5, 7, 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, we was in there.
Fruitful and multiplying.
Yeah, but we're done. Thank God. I told them when they was in there with the last one, go ahead and tie it up, do what you got to do. We out of there. 5, 7, 9, all boys. And but they taught me like, and it's been weird. It's been really weird because all of them have been 5 now, right? And that's how old I was when my dad died. So I'm looking at me. Wow. That's weird. Wow. It's weird. Wow. And I'm looking at how attentive they are and how much they know me. They know when I'm not there. And, you know, I'm 35 years removed almost. So it's like, I don't, you know, for me, it's like a, you know, a movie that you kind of forgot about, you know, parts of it. So that's how my childhood is. Like, I remember parts of that movie. Yeah. But it's like looking at them, it's like, oh, dang, they know me. Like, I mean, I knew my dad. Yeah. Like, I knew him. I knew his smell. I knew, you know, my child told me the other day, like, I went to school and surprised him. He was like, my 7-year-old, they wanted me to have lunch with him. So him and my oldest son go to school together, and I went to surprise him this past week. And he was like, it's so funny. And I'm probably going to preach this one day. But he was like, it's so funny. I knew you were here. I smelled you. He was like, I smell like Dad. And he turned around, and it was me. So, like, they just know. Yeah. So they're teaching me that, like, slow down. And just for everybody, man, I think my word for all of us is like, man, life is fragile. You know what I mean? Like, your next breath is God's option. Yeah, it's not yours. It don't matter what you do.
Your next breath is God's option.
Oh, yeah, it's optional. It's him. He's choosing to fill your lungs right now. That ain't you. It don't matter how healthy you eat.
That's good.
It don't matter what you do, what drugs you stay away from, what. It don't matter how righteous you are. Your next breath is on him. Yeah. I learned that with my dad. He's a good guy, you know what I mean? He was there. He was one of the guys that was going to raise his kids, you know what I mean? He's there. He's locked in, preacher, you know, out of here, 28. And so I think I learned that from that life, like seeing him. It's like, fam, it's not promised. Yeah. You know what I mean? These memories, like, lock in. Yeah. I barely have any footage from family vacations because I'm locked in. Yeah. Like, every now and then, be like, oh, we need to take a picture right in front of this, you know, amusement park. But after that, I'm so locked in because I want to savor the moments.
The moments.
Yeah.
As we close out this interview, one word you're committed to in this season of your life.
I just had like 12 words flash by, so I'm trying to pick one. What's the loudest? I think consistency. You know what I mean? One thing that's been big on me for the past probably 3 years has been, I prayed a prayer about 3 years ago because I gave my 30s, my 20s, but majority of my 30s to like creating the life we have now. Yeah. And I worked hard. Yeah. I mean, I still work hard, but it was a different grind then. And I miss moments though. You know what I mean? Like my best friend, since we were 5, you know, everything, anything we did together, college roommates, players together, everything, best man, children, godparents, all the things. Best friend since was 5, and his first child, I missed the birth of it. Cause I'm doing a concert. That Matt bought me a Gucci bag. Like, what am I doing? It's something that I'm just gonna scratch up. I mean, what is it doing? It ain't paying my bill. I'm out here doing a show to get what?
Yeah.
To buy something from Saks. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me now, I'm just at a place in my life where it's like, man, I want. This is a prayer I prayed. God, help me to be a better friend. I just want to show up for people.
Yeah.
No strings attached. Doesn't matter if you show up for me. I want. You ask for my sons. For my sons, the legacy of integrity. For my friends, I just want them to be able to say, no matter when I leave here, he was a good friend.
Yeah.
He showed up.
I
want to be consistent. I want to show up. I just want to show up. And I want to be there, and I want to love you, and I want to congratulate you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have a big moment that I'm not present. I just want to be a good friend. That's it.
I want to be a good friend. Good way to end this. Travis Greene, so excited for what God has for you. New book, Are You Praying for the Wrong Thing? Comes out May 14th.
I'm so impressed. Oh, my God.
I was supposed to be serious on the last one.
You're unbelievable.
Thank you.
You're
you
out
so
of this
much.
world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
New book, Travis Greene, Are You Praying for the Wrong Thing? I'm so excited. May 14th, book is out. You can get it where all books are sold. Your next breath is God's option. Woof. Yeah. Smoke. Thank you for that, Travis Greene. It's been my pleasure. You guys, this was another good one. We thank you for joining us here at Vault Empowers Talks. We don't just scratch the surface. So I'm your host, Brandy Harvey. Until next time, eat well, give a damn, move your body every single day. Peace.